Hey everyone, Cody from Mactelecom Networks. In this video, we're going to take our first look at UniFi Fabrics. We're going to go over everything that Fabrics currently has to offer. This is currently in early access, and you could access it by going to our unifi.ui.com or our site manager and enabling early access, and I'll show you how to do that. For me, I'm going to have two different sites. I'm going to have my Mactelecom site, and then I'm going to have the Mactelecom Fabrics site too, which will be prepared as a remote site, which is physically in my basement, but it is on a separate ISP. What is UniFi Fabrics? Well, it is a new network management architecture from Ubiquiti, and it creates a unified scalable control plane which will allow us to have multiple UniFi sites. It integrates identity management, policy orchestration, and it's completely license-free. This is going to be huge for me for my UniFi access deployments that are multi-site. So let's jump right into Fabrics, but first, are you or your business looking for remote or on-site support? Well, at Mactelecom Networks, we could help you. Whether it be for your home or business, we are experts in the full UniFi stack. We also provide structured cabling, UniFi access, network protect, and UniFi talk installation. Visit our website today at mactelecomnetworks.com. I'm now over on my site manager, and we could tell that I have early access enabled. By clicking on this icon, you can see that early access is checked off, and then that will allow us to be able to create a fabric. To create a new fabric, you'll see the fabrics here, and you'll see all the sites that are already currently a fabric, but we're going to want to create new. Now we need to give this fabric a name. I'm going to call it Mactelecom Fabric. We could give this fabric a logo, which I'm going to put in my business logo. The next thing we need to do, we need to select the sites that we want to be a part of this fabric. So I'm going to use my UDM Pro Max, and then we're going to use that test UDM Pro Max. We're also going to put in my UNVR Pro, and I'm going to put in my mom's UMVR. The fabric is now completed, and you can see that we have 4 different sites in here. We have my Mactelecom UNVR, which will check out the protect, and then we have my mom's UDW. The only thing we're going to be looking on that is our protect. Now at the top, it says get the most out of your fabric, enable consolidated people management, site-wide orchestration, and more. On the left-hand side, we're going to see we have our sites, then we have our different metrics. We also have a couple things that are coming soon. So this is a device template. Orchestrate device configurations and enable zero-touch provisioning across complete deployments. The other one we have is our clients. So we're going to gain visibility and seamless management of all connected clients across your fabric, which is really nice to see. Down below, we have our settings, which would be for our fabric. We have our system log, we have our update manager, and then we have coming soon an alarm manager. So centrally create and manage alarms across all sites and applications in your fabric. I think that's going to be really cool. And the last thing we have is people. I've clicked over on the settings, and that would be the settings for our full fabric. We have consolidated people management, and I'm going to bring in my Google Workspace. So I'm going to hit this checkbox. I'm going to be using Google Workspace, but you could use Microsoft Entra, you could use Jump Cloud LDAP, you could also use Active Directory, or you could use LDAP. We also have the identity sync service. So coordinate permissions, updates across your fabric, runs locally on the master site. So the master site is my UDM Pro Max that is running this house. It does also show you your WAN, and we have a couple of different options. So we have manual port forwarding. So forward identity sync traffic through a specific gateway by entering its public IP and port. And then we have our advanced security. Under advanced security, when enabled, the firewall policy automatically updates to restrict access to hosted console to only UI cloud in specific addresses. I'm going to leave everything at default for now. We also have identity endpoint email invite. So once you set this up, it will automatically send out identity invites to new people. If you have this checkbox off, you could require a 2FA code, and the invites expire after 30 days, or you could set up a custom limit. We will look at these different identity services later on after I get my Google Workspace users brought into my fabric. I already went into my Google admin console and got all of the information I needed. I needed the username and password, and I needed some other certs. If you want to see a video on this, adding Workspace to the fabrics, let me know, and I'll create a different domain and I'll be able to show you that. But now that all my information is added, all I need to do is press apply changes, and it's going to pull in the users from my Google Workspace. It's now done syncing with my Google Workspace, and you can see that 2 people have been imported. Let's go down to our users and see how that looks. The 2 users that were imported from Google Workspace, you could see a G beside their name. The other users I just entered manually myself. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a Wi-Fi network and we're going to push it to both of these sites. We're not going to do this using UniFi Identity, but you could see under the Identity Endpoint Services that we have a couple errors. So we could click to review. So under my Mactelecom PM, which is in this office, you have reached the maximum numbers of WLANs per band. So we have 4 on all APs. And then within the Mactelecom Fabric Site 2, we don't have any access points adopted. So I'm going to adopt a access point within the Fabric Site 2, and I'm also going to delete an SSID within my Mactelecom PM. Also, we could see another issue for our one-click VPN if we were going to use this for UniFi Identity. So let's click to review. We could see that Mactelecom Fabric Site 2 would require port forwarding because it's in double NAT, and so would my mom and Sean's UDW. It would require port forwarding. We're not going to worry about that in this video though. Let's go ahead and create a Wi-Fi network that is going to push to both of these sites. So under our settings, this is our settings for our fabric. We're going to click over on Wi-Fi. At the top of the Wi-Fi settings, we see applied to and then selected sites. We're going to select the site 2 and then my Mactelecom PM. We don't want my mom's UDW going up or my UMBR. We can't do that because it doesn't have a UniFi network application running on it. And then we're going to press save. You'd see how easy this will be if you're, say, a coffee shop owner with 10 different restaurants and you want to have a Wi-Fi SSID for all of your guests. Well, you could push out this one SSID to all of your sites. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it Coffee Wi-Fi. Now for the password, we're just going to do something super simple of test1234. And then for our network, we could either have it on the native VLAN or we could have it on a custom VLAN. And then we have broadcasting APs. We're going to have it go over all. And we also have our Wi-Fi optimization. So for a coffee shop guest, you might want to have hotspot, but that isn't available yet. It is coming soon. But we have standard and then we have IoT. So I'm going to click on create. After I hit create, it did push out to one site, but it didn't push to the other, which was my Mactelecom PM, because I forgot to delete a Wi-Fi SSID. So it tells you right there. I'm going to press apply and it should push it out now, as I only have 3 SSIDs on the site currently. You'd see at the top the system sync, and hopefully it pushes through and it is all green. So we're going to go look at both these sites and make sure that the Wi-Fi network is sitting there. I'm now over on my UDM Pro Max for this office, and we can see that the coffee Wi-Fi has been added and it has a lock beside it. It says this Wi-Fi broadcast is centrally managed by the organization and cannot be edited locally. So we'd have to edit it within our fabric. Looking at my Mactelecom Fabric Site 2, you could see that Wi-Fi SSID pushed out as well. And this is going to make things very easy and it's going to be less time consuming. Under the physical security, you could see this video wall for the sites that I've selected for UniFi Protect, which was my house and it was also my mom's. So you could see my house at the top. You could see that the alarm is disarmed and then you could see my cameras. And you could also see my mom's. The naming is a little bit off. She does not live in Saskatchewan, Canada. She does live in Ontario. But if we want to go to things like find anything, you're going to have to click between the 2 different sites. So you can see that we have my Mactelecom NVR. If I want to see different detections on my mom's sites, I'd have to hit the drop-down menu. The last thing that we're going to look at is UniFi Identity Endpoint just for our door access. We'll get more into one-click Wi-Fi and VPN in a later video. But we can see we have our identity endpoint services and we have the smart door access toggle switch turned on. We have our credential types, which we're just going to leave it to all. And then we have this, which is very nice to see, remote unlock via identity app. If you've used UniFi Identity before, the free version, you've never been able to remotely unlock the doors. You'd have to be within Bluetooth range. I'm going to create a custom role for our UniFi access and I'm just going to call it door guards. There are other roles that are currently default in here, which we have our fabric admin. We'll go over that as well in a different video. So I'm going to create a new role. This role I'm going to call is door guard. And then we're going to select our sites that it goes onto. So our Mactelecom Fabric Site 2 and Mactelecom PM. We're not going to give them admin privileges, but we're going to give them door access. So for our door access, I only have my default policies set right now, and we're going to select both sites. Once that's done, we're going to save this role. Now within this role, we need to assign people to it. So I'm going to assign one person. The person that I'm going to assign is this UniFi test. And once that's done, we should be able to see in UniFi Identity Endpoint both of these doors. I put a picture up on screen of our UniFi Identity Endpoint, and this user could see both of our doors from two different separate sites. This is huge to me as we deploy a lot of UniFi access and we do have multi-site deployments. That is going to be it for my first video on UniFi Fabrics, and I think this is going to be amazing for MSPs or for people who are doing multi-site or want to remotely unlock doors. It makes people management a lot easier, and there will be more to come. If you have any questions about UniFi Fabrics, let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.